So in today's lecture, we are going to study serial analysis of gene expression. So what is SAGE? Serial analysis of gene expression is a powerful tool that allows digital analysis of overall gene expression patterns. So this is a powerful tool. So from this tool, we can identify the digital analysis of overall gene expression patterns. So this SAGE produces a snapshot of the mRNA population in the sample of interest. So the results of this SAGE technique will produce a snapshot of the mRNA population in the sample of a interest. Then this SAGE provides quantitative and comprehensive expression profiling in a given cell population. This SAGE invented at Johns Hopkins University in USA Oncology Center by Dr. Victor Velculescu in 1995. So this SAGE technique gives an overview of a cell's complete gene activity. So it addresses specific tissues such as determination of normal gene structure and identification of abnormal genome changes. Then this technique also enables precise annotation of existing genes and discovery of new genes. So this technique has been invented in 1995 by Dr. Victor Velculescu. So this SAGE technique gives an overview of cell's complete gene activity. Then it enables the precise annotation of existing genes and discovery of new genes. So why there is a need for the SAGE? So gene expression refers to the study of how specific genes are transcribed at a given point in a time in a given cell. So examining which transcripts are present in a cell, and SAGE enables large-scale studies of DNA expression. So this can be used to create expression profiles. So there is a need for the technique, which techniques will determine which transcripts are present in the cell. And this SAGE technique enables the large-scale studies of DNA expression. So this can be used to create expression profiles. So by that time, RNA blotting was used for the gene expression studies. But RNA blotting is a slow process. So there is a need for the new technology which is rapid than that of the RNA blotting. Principle of SAGE. So basically there are three principles that underlie in the SAGE methodology. First is a short sequence tag of 10 to 14 base pair contains sufficient information to uniquely identify a transcript, provided that the tag is obtained from a unique position within each transcript. So a short sequence tag, a short sequence of 10 to 14 base pair that contains sufficient information to uniquely identify a transcript. So this short tag can be used for getting the information of each transcript, but provided that this tag should be obtained from a unique position within each transcript. So that tag should be obtained from the unique position from each transcript. Then and then that tag will have sufficient information to uniquely identify a transcript. Then second, sequence tags can be linked together to form long serial molecules that can be cloned and sequenced So whatever the tags are getting from this technique, so that sequence tags can be linked together to form a long serial molecule. So this molecule, this long serial molecule can be cloned and it can then be sequenced. Then third, quantitation of the number of times a particular tag is observed provides the expression level of the corresponding transcript. So we have to quantitate the number of times a particular tag is observed, and this quantitation will provide expression level of the corresponding transcript. So based on this principle, now we will see the methodology of SAGE. So here you can see this is the mRNA molecule. We have to carry out the reverse transcription so that we can get the cDNA molecule. Then from that cDNA molecule, we have to isolate the SAGE tags. So here you can see the different SAGE tags which are presented in different colors. So the next step is linking these tags together so that longer molecule will be formed. Then we have to sequence these linked tags and quantitate the tags and determine the pattern of gene expression. So after that, we have to compare the normal and disease cell gene expression pattern. Then next is prerequisites for the SAGE. So for this, extensive sequencing techniques are required so that we can sequence this longer molecule. Then deep bioinformatic knowledge so that we can analyze the gene expression. And third, powerful computer softwares. So by using that softwares, we can assemble and analyze the results from the SAGE experiments. So limited use of this sensitive technique in academic research laboratories. So if we see the use of this technique, it is limited to only the academic research laboratories. Now next, the steps or procedure for the SAGE technique. So first, we have to isolate the mRNA of an input sample. For example, tumor cells, we have to isolate the mRNA molecule from the sample. Then second step is extract a small chunk of sequence from a defined position of each mRNA molecule. So we have to extract a small chunk of sequence from a defined position of mRNA molecule. Then third is link these small pieces of sequence together to form a long chain that we can say concatemer. So here after isolation, we are extracting a small chunk of sequence from a defined position. That means we are going to find out the tag sequence, and after this we have to link this tag sequence to form a long chain, that is a concatemer. Then next, clone these chains into a vector which can be taken up by the bacteria. So we have to clone this concatemer into a vector that vector can be accommodated or taken by the bacteria. So for this we can use the plasmid or any other vector. Then next, sequence these chains using modern high throughput DNA sequencer. So next is the SAGE flowchart. So here you can see this is a poly A RNA, that means mRNA, which is extracted from the cell. Then we have to carry out the reverse transcription so that we can get the cDNA molecule. Then next step is restriction with the anchoring enzyme. So we have to carry out the restriction digestion by using the anchoring enzymes so that we can get the fragments which are bound to this particular beads. Next step is we have to ligate this to the linker molecule. So here we can use the two different linkers, linker A and linker B. So after that we have to, after restriction digestion, we have to distribute these samples into two equal halves. Then we have to ligate these with the two different linkers, linker A and linker B. Then next, uh, so next there will be a linker, then tagging the site for the tagging enzyme, then anchoring enzyme site and tag. Such fragments will get. Then after ligation of these two tags, we have to use the ligase enzyme. So ditags will be formed. Then after that, we have to carry out the PCR amplification, and it is followed by restriction digestion with the anchoring enzyme again, so that we can get only the ditag sequence. Then after that, concatenation is there. That means long, we have to form the long molecule and clone it. Now we will see the SAGE technique in detail. First is trap the RNAs with the beads. So mRNAs end with a long string of A, that means poly A. So adenine forms a very strong chemical bond with another nucleotide, that is thymine. So molecule that consists of 20 or so thymines act like a chemical bait to capture the RNAs. So researchers coat the microscopic magnetic beads with chemical baits, that is poly-T tails hanging out. So beads along with poly-T tail. When contents of the cells are washed past the beads, the RNA molecules will get trapped. So here we can get the mRNA molecule. A magnet is used to withdraw the beads and the RNA out of the soap. So here you can see this is the magnetic bead, and a tag has been used that binds to the mRNA. mRNA is having a poly A tail at the 3' end. So this particular tag will have poly T sequence. So this poly T sequence will bind to the poly A sequence, which is present on the mRNA molecule, and likewise we can capture the mRNA molecules to the beads. Next step is cDNA synthesis. So here we are having the mRNA molecule. So we have to carry out the reverse transcription. So we can get the double stranded DNA molecule, cDNA molecule. So double stranded cDNA molecule is synthesized from the extracted mRNA by means of a biotinylated oligo-DT primer. So biotinylated oligo-DT primer we have to use so that we can get the double stranded cDNA molecule. Then the cDNA synthesized, it's immobilized to streptavidin beads. So that cDNA will bind to the streptavidin beads. So here is the RNA. RNA binds to the bait and is copied into the DNA. So here you can see this is the mRNA DNA hybrid has been formed. Then we have to use the restriction enzyme, that is we have to use the enzyme, that is RNA-H. That RNA-H will remove the mRNA molecule and leaving only the DNA molecule. So after polymerization, double stranded DNA molecule, double stranded cDNA molecule will get formed. So after getting the double stranded cDNA molecule, we have to carry out the enzyme cleavage. So the cDNA is cleaved with a restriction enzyme. So for two restriction enzymes are used. So the restriction enzyme is generally used. The example of this anchoring enzyme is NLA3. So such type of enzymes we can use for the enzymatic cleavage. Then the average length of cDNA will be 256 base pair with sticky ends created. So we get the fragments of 256 base pairs with the sticky ends. So here you can see this particular cDNA molecule which is bound to the streptavidin beads, and we are carrying out the enzymatic digestion of this cDNA molecule. So anchoring enzyme has been used over here. So leaving only a DNA fragment of 256 base pair to this particular streptavidin beads. The next step is ligation of linkers to bound cDNA. Then these captured cDNAs are divided into two halves, then ligated to linkers A and linker respectively at their ends. So after digestion, we have to divide this captured cDNA into two equal halves, and first half we have to ligate with linker A, and second half we have to ligate with the linker B. Then these linkers also known as the docking modules. So they are oligonucleotide duplexes. So these linkers are the oligonucleotide DNA sequence that will contain a recognition sequence for type 2 restriction enzyme, then NLA3 4 nucleotide cohesive overhang, because earlier we have used this NLA3 as an anchoring enzyme for the digestion of a cDNA molecule. So it will contain nucleotide cohesive overhang and a PCR primer sequence, primer A or primer B, which we are using for the ligation. So here, this is the streptavidin to which cDNA is the overhang, and this is the overhang which have been created by using anchoring enzyme. Then we have dividing this into two equal halves. First half we are ligating with the linker A, and second half with the linker B. So this will have this particular beads, the sequence, this particular cDNA molecule fragment, then this particular overhang. That is CATG, this particular overhang. Then this particular linker will have recognition site for another restriction enzyme and the sequence. So that sequence we can use as a primer for further amplification. So this type 2S restriction enzyme can be used as a tagging enzyme. So this linker or docking molecule, that means primer, then tagging enzyme, the site for the tagging enzyme, and this anchoring enzyme overhang plus tag sequence. Then the next step is cleavage with tagging enzyme. So the tagging enzyme usually BMS F1 cleave the DNA 14 to 15 nucleotides, releasing the linker adapter stage tag from each cDNA. So the linker will have the recognition site for this tagging enzyme. So we have to carry out the digestion by using the tagging enzyme. So the generally the BMS F1 tagging enzyme is used. This enzyme will cleave the DNA 14 to 15 nucleotides so that it will release the linker adapter tag from each cDNA. So it will get separated from the streptavidin beads. So here you can see this is the adapter A, that particular sequence anchoring overhangs, that is CATG, and further 10 to 15 nucleotide sequence that we can consider as a tag which is obtained from that particular cDNA. And again next we can get the another, that is adapter B, that particular overhang and second tag. So next step is repair the ends with filling reaction to make the blunt ended tags. So we have to repair these particular ends. So for this, we have to use the DNA polymerase enzyme, that is that is obtained from the E. coli, or we can say this as a lino fragment, and we have to use the DNTP so that that particular ends will get converted into the blunt end. So repair of ends to make blunt ended tags using DNA polymerase and DNTPs. So here you can see this particular is the streptavidin bead. Then to this, the double stranded complementary DNA molecule was there, and we have used that particular linkers which is having the site for the uh, tagging enzyme, and it will cleave after that particular tag sequence. The next step is formation of die tags. What is left is a collection of short tags that is taken from each molecule. So from each molecule, whatever we will left, that can be considered as a short tag. So two groups of cDNA are ligated to each other to create a die tag with linkers on either end. So we have to ligate these two tags from that particular cDNA molecule. From one cDNA molecule, we can get the two tags. So we have to ligate these two tags so that we can get the die tag. Die tag means two tags. So here telltale ligation will be there, so that at the center there will be the two tags will be there, and at the ends there will be the sequence of that particular linker A, and at another end there will be the sequence of linker B. So this can be considered as a linker die tag linker. Then ligation of these two tags by using T4 DNA ligase. Next step is PCR amplification of die tags. So the linker die tag linker constructs are amplified by PCR using primers specific to the linkers. So these particular linkers, we have used linker A and linker B. So we have to use that particular primer sequence for the amplification. The next step is isolation of die tags. The cDNA is again digested by anchoring enzyme, then breaking the linker of right where it was added in the beginning. So by using this restriction digestion, by using this anchoring enzyme, it will break down the linker which we have ligated to that particular cDNA. So this leaves a sticky end with the sequence GTAC or CATG on the other strand at each end of the ditag. So after digesting with this anchoring enzyme, it leaves the sticky ends. So here you can see these are the two ditags, and we have carried out the digestion by using the anchoring enzyme. So to both the ends, there will be the sticky end. The next step is concatemerization of ditags. So tags are combined into much longer molecule that is known as the concatemers. So between each ditag is the anchoring enzyme site, allowing the scientist and computer to recognize where one ends and next begins. So after getting that particular tag, we have to combine that all the tags together so that larger molecule can be formed, and that larger molecule is known as the concatemers. So in between the each ditag, there is the anchoring enzyme recognition site, so that by using this particular anchoring enzyme recognition sequence, it allows the scientist and computer to recognize where one tag sequence has ended and another tag sequence has been started. So here you can see this particular ditag is there, and after that anchoring enzyme recognition site is there. The next is cloning concatemers and sequencing. So lots of copies are required. So the concatemers are put into the bacteria, which act like living copy machines to create millions of copies from the original. So for this, lots of copies are required so that this concatemer are put into the bacteria, and this bacteria will act as a living copy machines to create millions of copies of that millions of copies from that of the original. So these copies are then sequenced using machines that can read the nucleotides in a DNA. So it results in a long list of nucleotides that has to be analyzed by computer. So after sequencing, we can get the nucleotide sequence. Then the analysis will do several things. That analysis will count the tags, then determine which ones come from the same RNA molecule. Then it will figure out which ones come from known, then well studied genes, and which ones are new. So this after analysis we will get the results, like it will count the number of tags, then it will determine which tags are come from the same RNA molecule. Then it will also figure out which tag has been come from the known gene. Then it will also find out which tag has been come from the well studied genes, and which tags are new. So here you can see this particular carried out. So concatemer tag into the plasmid for automated sequencing. Then extract and count the tags to calculate the expression level of each transcript. Then compare the tag counts to find differentially expressed genes and identify full-length transcripts from the sequence databases. So based on this particular tag, we can find out the sequence of that particular full-length transcript. Then quantitation of gene expression and data presentation. So we can in normal cell and which genes are expressed in the tumor cells. So such quantitative gene expression data we can get from the SAGE tool. Now we will say how this Now we will see how does SAGE work. So first step is isolation of mRNA. Then this particular mRNA is having poly A tail, so we have to isolate this mRNA molecule. So for this, add biotin labeled DT primers, then synthesize the double-stranded cDNA molecule, then bind this cDNA molecule to the streptavidin coated beads. Then cleave will recognize the 4 base pair sequence, that is GTAC, or we can read from opposite side, that is CATG. Then discard the loose fragments. So divide into 2 pools and add the linker sequence. Then after this, we have to ligate it by using 2 different primers. Then cleaving with the tagging enzyme. Then after that, combine the pools and ligate it.
Headphone लावता ma'amचा आवाज.
Then after that, we have to amplify the dye tags and cleave with the anchoring enzyme. Then next is the ligation of this dye tag. Next is sequence and record the tags and frequencies. So vast amounts of data is produced, which must be sifted and recorded for use full information to be apparent. So there are so what does the data look like? Then from the tags to orientation for this tail or extract the adjacent after that we have to find out that this particular gene identifier for each tag, gene tag. So differential gene expression by SAGE, identification of different logical or pathological conditions, applications of many statistical gene bank for matches to tag. So it allows the assignment to, so it own genes, sequence tags, and third, mRNA, which are derived from the currently unidentified genes. Next are the limitations of SAGE. So it does not measure the actual expression technique. This tool does not measure the actual expression level of a gene. Then average size of a tag produced during SAGE analysis is 10 bases, and this makes it difficult to assign a tag to a specific transcript with accuracy. So there are so many transcripts are available. So for each transcript, that particular tag, the sequence is from 10 to 15 base pair. Then same gene could have different tags at the T prime ends. Then assigning each tag to an mRNA transcript could be made even more difficult and ambiguous if sequencing errors are, so if there is a error in the sequencing, so it will be a single tag to the mRNA transcript. Then next, quantidation biases. So contamination of large quantities of linker dimer molecules, then low efficiency in biases. So these are the quantidation biases. There is some fraction of mRNA species would be lost. Thank you. It was about the serial analysis of gene. Thank you.